What's going on, folks? To my 6 subscribers. Hey, guys. Um, all right, let's talk about the Ironman. I want to talk about the Ironman, but believe it or not, I got really sick Tuesday after the Ironman. So that sucked. Um, that wasn't fun. But let's do it. So I did the half in Santa Cruz. I haven't really talked about it on this channel. I didn't really do any YouTube stuff, but I was posting on Instagram. I do have an experience with, the start of an open water swim, and I felt very pumped this time because I was like, you know what, this is it. I'm ready. Let's go. All those hours of training, and as we got closer, um, I was like, okay, I'm ready. Let's do this. I jumped in, and I think the cold water I started hyperventilating a little, and it took me around like 500 yards to settle in. And I was like, all right, I was breathing one stroke at a time. I couldn't really stay down for 2 or 3 and then breathe. Um, that was a bit of a problem, especially the sighting. I didn't practice sighting a lot, but to my left, I just figured I'd follow the other swimmers. And so once it got to like 600 or 700 yards, that's when I felt like I had to program my thoughts to say, you know what, just look for the next buoy, and then from there go to the next buoy, instead of thinking, oh, I gotta finish this, because I knew I was gonna be in here for like anywhere from an hour 30 to like an hour 45. So I felt like I had to stay calm and be very, very patient. And so I remember hitting the turn buoy, and it seemed like forever. And I got there, and I was like, all right, halfway done, let's keep going. And I just remember a bunch of the swimmers too, with me turning. I was straying a little bit from the buoys, by the way, and I had to swim back sometimes because of my terrible sighting skills. And the way back was also very long, but I felt like I was getting a little tired. But like, no, I got this. I got this. Where's the next buoy? Okay, I hit this buoy. Okay, where's the next one? I think I was counting. They had numbers. And so all of a sudden, I see where we started. There's 2 big bridges, and I was like, oh shit, like we're almost there. And I didn't want to go too fast, but I kept on swimming and swimming, and then I finally see the turn buoy. There's a false turn buoy. I was like, oh man, so I try to not to say, like, I try to program myself to not go for the finish, but for the buoy, right? Like small achievements, I'm stacking those up. And so once I hit the turn buoy, finally I turn left, and I see the competitors just hopping out of the water, and I was like, okay, this is it, I'm done. And also, not to mention, I forgot to mention that when I was in the swim, I was like, I don't think I like this. Like, I think I was thinking to myself, I was like, I don't know if I want to do another one because this is way too long, right? And then I come out, and I felt like a little dazed. But I was thinking like, damn, dude, all right. And I start running, and I just did not feel like I made a dent in the race. I was like, damn, dude, I still got a bike. The volunteers helped me with the bike. I'm sorry, they helped me with taking off my wetsuit, changing to my bike clothes. It was a little windy, so I was pretty cold. And then I went to the bathroom, and I saw that I was like really dehydrated, so I popped some electrolyte tablets, and I went on my way. It was a little cold at first, but I dried up. The tri-suit was pretty good. I got my tri-suit off Amazon, by the way. It was like $70, so that was really sick. And people were going really fast because it was a 3-loop course, and we saw the pros. We raced with the pros, so that was really cool. They were really tall, really strong. So that was kind of fun to see. Um, the first loop was good. I drank a lot of electrolytes from what the volunteers were handing me, and I was like, oh, this is okay. And then when I started the second loop, that's when I felt like my hips kind of hurting a little bit more. I checked my watch. I think it was like at 3 hours, and I was like, how the hell am I gonna finish this? Um, it was I was in pain. I would describe the bike as very painful. I made sure to eat the carbs that I needed, the electrolytes that I needed, and hydrate. Um, and also to keep a good pace. I didn't want to burn my legs out. I know during training I had some knee issues, so I knew I had to keep the RPM up so that way I wouldn't strain my knees and it'd be more on the back of my legs. And so doing the second lap was also really tough because the headwind started picking up on the way back, and there was like a little hill before turning around, so that was always pretty hard. By this time, my legs are really hurting, and I'm looking around wondering, who of these people have I passed? Who haven't I passed? Like, kind of comparing myself. But then I just locked back in and told myself, this is my race. I can't compare myself to anybody. I'm going to do okay. The main thing was I was scared that I wasn't going to finish. And so I was just always looking for the cutoff time because the bike is my slowest event. And so I was always checking for that. I think I dropped off some super sour Scandinavian swimmers and a bottle of fuel. So at the drop-off bag, got mile, I don't know, 60. So I took some of that, and then the third lap came, and I saw everyone, like a lot of people were finished by the bike at that time. It was just me, and I felt like, I don't know, 30 or 40 other people ahead of me. I don't know how many people were behind me, but that's what it felt like. I felt like the course, there wasn't a lot of people anymore, and I was like, oh damn, dude, like, we're the last ones. And I was in pain. I was hurting. I was like, I just got to push, and I just thought about my friends and the people who were supporting me, and I was getting like in a dark place. I was like, damn, it was just becoming really difficult. But I just once I made the turnaround, and I started approaching like the high 90s into 100. That's when I was like, you know what? I think I gotta put the pedal to the metal, increase the gear, and I just started mashing on it because at this point I was getting a little frustrated that I wasn't finished yet, and the headwinds were picking up. And I said, you know what? No, I'm gonna push through this. And I said, oh, I don't know if I'll have enough juice for the marathon, but I said, you know what? It is what it is. And I did that, and it worked in my favor, and I was going really fast. And when I was approaching the end of the bike, I remember there's this other cyclist, and he told me, he goes, we did it, man. We're going to make it. And I think it's little things like that that make it really special, and that really, I mean, that kept me going. Like that reassurance that like it's gonna be okay, like we did this. That was so powerful, right? I finished, and I was like, oh, I told myself I can't believe I did this bike. And I got off. The volunteers helped me, and it was like 5 o'clock still. And I rushed into the changing tent. I put on my shoes. I asked people. I was like, hey, like how much time do we get? How much time do we have for the marathon? Someone was like, you know what? If we can average a 13-minute per mile on the marathon, and I think if we do that, we should be okay. There's a cutoff at mile 18 at 10 o'clock. I was like, all right. And as I started running, I felt like my legs were just juiced, right? And I just felt good. I was a little slow, of course, but I I was hitting like 11 to 12 minute pace, and I felt really good. I was just eating everything at the stations, and I don't think I went to the bathroom. I had a feeling to use the restroom, but I never did. But I was drinking the Coca-Cola, I was drinking the chicken broth, I was eating the fruits, the snacks, and I think by the last third of the marathon was when my knees, my joints were starting to hurt. But I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna increase my stride, lengthen my stride, and I'm just gonna not stop. I'm just, whatever you do, don't stop. I only walked for the 8 stations, right? But for the most part, don't stop. I'm never gonna stop, because if I do, that's when everything's gonna start to hurt, and then my momentum's gonna go down. So after that, I remember after the third loop, going towards the red carpet, and I just felt like it was the end, like it was like a video game or like a movie. I was like, oh, like this is it right here. And there was one spectator, and he goes, you deserve this moment. Great job. You worked hard for this moment. And I think hearing things like that just like puts it in my head, like, damn, dude, like I can't believe I did this. It was a great moment, and I remember finally seeing the red carpet. I banged the first timer bell. I saw my friends, and then I just run up, and then you see these really bright lights, and it's like, okay. Ooh, my mom. You see these really bright lights, and it's almost like a dream. It's so bright, and then you're running towards it, and they say your name, and after that you cross the finish line, and then you see the photographers, and you see all the volunteers there, and gave me my medal, and saw my friends afterwards, and it felt good. I don't think I really felt like, after I finished, I didn't feel this I think this like feeling of like, oh my god, like I can't believe I did it. Like the waves of emotion that people usually feel. I felt that more like after the bike. I felt that when the guy told me, you did this, and he said that this is your moment, right? Those things hit me. I think because for the bike, that one was a big one. I didn't feel like I could do something. I was stressing out about that. And when I did it, I was like, damn, I can't believe I did that. I wasn't too worried about the marathon. Maybe it's because of that. But I don't know. I didn't feel like, I felt accomplished for sure, but I didn't feel like it was like a very, very grand accomplishment. I think the grand accomplishment for me in that race was the bike. But I mean, nonetheless, it did feel really good. It felt amazing. And by the next day I was sore, of course, but I think one of the biggest things that I learned about that race, though, was something that everyone can apply to life. Is sometimes you're not sure what's going to happen in the race, right? Your tire might blow out. You might get nauseous during the marathon. You might cramp up during the swim. And one of the other people who I was racing with, I was asking people for advice, and this lady goes, you know what? You'll just figure it out. You're just going to figure it out. And then you'll keep going, right? But if there's a problem, like, you just got to figure it out. And I've thought a lot about that, figuring things out, and it's very true, especially with my life. figuring things out, because there's no such thing as a perfect road, right? You're always going to get bumps along the way, flat tire maybe, or I mean, even in life you get, you start with a career maybe, or then you'll get laid off, or you find out it's not what you really hoped for, and you pivot and you find something different and you adjust and you move forward. And to me, I didn't realize that a lot of life is like that until I did this race, or I don't know, maybe I've just been thinking about that a lot. Like, you just have to figure it out, right? And I guess that's how the race is won. You just have to figure it out. Solve those problems and just move forward. And you don't stop and you don't look back. Because the ones who do figure it out or manage a way to pivot are the ones that finish. And they're the ones who get the medal. The ones who have prepared for the moment. And no matter what, no matter how much you prepare, you can always encounter a tire pop or a malfunction or a cramp. Even to the pros. You just have to figure it out and pivot. And those are the ones who finished, like I said earlier. As far as first timers, people who want to do the Ironman, I'm not someone who's like super fit. I am fit as a result of all this Ironman training, but I'm not like a 3-hour marathoner. I didn't start swimming until April of this year, so 7 months prior to my full Ironman, and I didn't have a bike prior to April. So my advice to everyone who wants to start an Ironman is you have to have a level not only of fitness, but of mental grit, of consistency, of showing up and having this mentality of I can't do this. Because success doesn't just favor the fit, but it also favors the whole thing, right? I could be the strongest, most athletic person in the world, but if I don't think I can do it, how am I going to finish, right? So I believe that if you have all these things, it's possible. Not to say that you have to have everything at a very high level, but for me, I didn't really have like a good fitness. I was getting injured all the time. But it's also being wise too and saying, you know what, I need to listen to my body, take a break. And it was a lot of grit and consistency for me, especially for my swim and my bike. I didn't run a lot. It was a lot of bike, and it worked in my favor. So another thing I would recommend is to sign up. If you're thinking about it, if you want to do it, I think once you sign up, the money is gone. You're gonna lose your money if you don't race it, right? So that was a huge incentive for me to do all these workouts. Also the nutrition, practice the nutrition. I started practicing like 4 or 5 months in advance. I did half too. Do a half first. That half Ironman helped me pave a way, and I knew what to expect, right? So that lessened the stress. Um, you can do a marathon too. I was a marathoner. I think I completed my second marathon this year. Injured. I finished in 6 hours. So yeah, I would say nutrition, practice nutrition, um, and let's see. I did a road bike. I did it with a road bike, so no matter what bike you have, I think it'd be okay. Just make sure it's fit for the event. The nutrition, always practice the nutrition, and those values. You know, those who want to start, I should say. But there's a lot of other advice I can give as someone who's done this race for the first time and has been successful with the amount of training that I've had. So if anyone wants to drop questions in the comments, I would be more than happy to answer. But what's next? What's next? I would love to do another Ironman, but I'm saving up on other things, right? I drained my wallet this past year. I'm not the richest person, so I'm saving up. But right now it's just for the love of the game, just biking, running, and swimming. Hopefully do another Ironman. It'd be cool to qualify for world championships, even like a half, because that sounds so cool. It's a fun sport, and so many people are so inspiring, especially in their 40s and their 50s and their 60s. And I'm like, how are these people so fit? There's always this notion that once you get older, you get less fit, fatter, unhealthy. But these people, clearly it's the opposite for these people. So, I'd like to continue with this sport. Maybe ultra running is next. I think that's my big thing right now. I want to do a rim to rim next year. But I would love to do another Ironman, right? It's fun. It's great. So with that, I am going to close. But if you guys have any questions, please let me know in the comments. Thank you for watching, and have a good day. And just remember, talent is long patience.